I remember I was in my fifth beer watching some movie called Vanilla Sky. And some song came on called Have You Forgotten? Little did I know it would become an anthem for a broken heart. Something that didn't even happen yet. Then, 2 years later, I was at a club with an old friend I haven't talked to or seen in 10 years. And there she was, a beautiful blonde, dancing all by herself. I was wearing a black leather jacket and my bike helmet, and I had several shots before I'd walked into the place, so I had the courage and I was feeling like hot shit. I walked over her and gave her some line about, why are you here? Eventually I got her number and convinced her I was going to take her on a real date, something that resonated with her for some reason. I was going to be the guy who took care of her, fucking knight in shining armor. After she left me and went back to her ex, and my life went back to black, I was back on the couch watching some show called Sons of Anarchy. Some song came on that sounded vaguely familiar. Some band called Sun Kill Moon, which ended up being my second favorite song of all time. You'll never guess who sang it. The lead singer who had sang Have You Forgotten? This was almost 12 years later from when I had watched Vanilla Sky. The point is, I used to believe in stuff like that, fate and some higher power, some meaning for all the loss and chaos and pain that seemed to always find me. Way back when turning the Xbox on meant simpler times. My escape from destiny and a date with heartbreak. Cheating IRL, not cheating on Call of Duty or Apex. I didn't even think about that. But now, all that has changed, because fate has come for my beloved gaming. A few years back, I had mentioned that in the future, because of skill-based matchmaking, eventually, in order to solve the matchmaking equation, we would eventually be playing AI bots in order to win. I realized how absurd this was, and when I mentioned it to friends, they looked at me kind of funny, but then something strange happened. Fortnite implemented bots to play against newer players in order to ease them into the game, and let them have fun and get a few wins. Get them addicted, keep them coming back for more, and then throw them into the casino that is the engagement optimized matchmaking. You know, the kind where you die right off the rip 7 times in a row before you can even get a kill? I couldn't believe my eyes when this started happening. I felt like Michael Burry when he predicted the housing market crash back in 2007. And we'll get back to that later, which neatly ties this all together. Over the years, we've all noticed that cheating is a huge problem in any game you play, and I've covered this like a madman, predicting the end of the world or some shit. But over the months, I've considered something else, called the dead internet theory. Something I didn't even know existed till a few weeks ago. I knew about the algos that would slant games either in your favor or against, depending on how you're doing. And I'm not going to cover this too much because there's already tons of videos covering this and it's been hammered into the ground. But the idea is, the first couple of games you do well, and then later on, you'll lose more than you win. This inevitably keeps you coming back, playing more. I think I failed to realize when the new Call of Duty released, there was already rumors that bots were joining games, helping to balance out one way or the other, depending on if you were supposed to win that game or lose. Sometimes it would help you, sometimes it would hurt you. I realized I was already playing against a machine, an algorithm, and possibly even AI. I was in it, and I didn't even realize it. Is this the dead internet theory? Fuck. Then I started really thinking. I don't trust any gaming channel's content to be real, whether it be some sort of manufactured or manipulated gameplay, reverse boosting, straight up walls, aimbot, all the BS. Getting a good gameplay that's even going to get noticed has to be over the top. And how is this even possible if you're playing against a machine? And the answer hit me hard. It isn't. You can't play against the casino and win all the time, or even win big some of the time. And down the rabbit hole I went. Okay, so a lot of these things are possible, but they would be considered statistical anomalies, which does happen. Someone does have to win. Someone does win the Mega Millions jackpot. But it's impossible to win the lottery 5 or 6 times in a row. And I see it being done every damn day. A statistical anomaly. At this point, I had been sitting down for hours trying to process what this all meant, or if it even meant anything. Was I a crazy person? I went outside and it was cold, and the wind hit my face pretty hard, but not harder than the cigarette I was hiding behind. If the system was trying to balance out everything into a 1 kill death ratio method, which I've explored earlier, and you see someone constantly drop 20 bombs, this is a statistical anomaly. So you're either cheating or the system is broken. In other words, skill-based matchmaking doesn't work. If I was a betting person, I'd bet the system isn't broken. And if someone is using an AI cheating service, for example, wouldn't we need an AI anti-cheat service to combat this? This goes back to my original point, and what I mentioned to my friends. Eventually, that cheating will become so pronounced that you will need an AI to combat it. In other words, it'll just be two AI entities fighting against each other like Agent Smith and Neo in the Matrix, two undefeatable forces locked in internal combat, thus making the dead gaming theory prophecy fulfilled. While the exact origins of the theory are difficult to pinpoint, the dead internet theory most likely emerged from 4chan or WizardChan as a theoretical concept in the late 2010s, with the title thread being Dead Internet Theory, most of the internet is fake. With the rise of AI girlfriends and AI Instagram models and every college student having ChatGPT writing all their papers for them, is it any wonder that eventually the internet, and gaming along with it, will be dead? or perhaps like I fear, it already is. Do you ever wonder that there's so much nostalgia around old games like Call of Duty or Fortnite or even Mario Kart? Why is that? Well, maybe it's because we are intuitive creatures, and maybe we're picking up on the fact that it used to be real. Even as dumb as we've gotten in our society, donating to millions to the rich, paying for OnlyFans for AI-generated dirty messages and spicy pics, we are an inherently intuitive creatures as humans, and maybe, just maybe, we're picking up increasingly and living and playing and interacting with a dead society. Our movies, our music, and scrolling has just become so fake now, it's even creeping into our beloved gaming. A fundamental shift. He who controls the market controls the games. This is a message for the youth. Don't waste your life, young man, or else maybe you'll just end up like me. Someday, sitting on the couch, missing an old girlfriend, half drunk, and missing old games.
When I first saw you, you were a lovely child. And the last time I saw you, you were 15, pregnant and running wild. I remember wondering, could there be a light at the end of your tunnel? But I left Ohio then, and pretty much forgotten all about you. Guess you were there some years ago at a family funeral, but you were one of so many relatives, I didn't know which one was you. Yesterday morning I woke up to so many 330 area code calls. I called my mom back and she was in tears. She asked, Mark, did you speak with your father? Carissa had burned to death last night in a freak accident fire. On her land in Brewster, her daughter came home from a party and found her just like my uncle, who was her grandfather. An aerosol can blew up in the trash. Goddamn, what were the odds? Was just getting ready to go to her midnight shift as an RN in Wadsworth. But she vanished up in flames like that. But there had to be more to her life's work. Everyone's breathing out of their minds, making arrangements and taking calls. I'm flying out there tomorrow because I need to give and get some hugs. I got questions I'd like to get answered. I may never get them, but Chris, I gotta know how to. Chris, who's 35, you don't just raise 2 kids, take out your trash and die. She was only my second cousin, but it doesn't mean that I'm not here for her, that I wasn't meant to give her like poetry, to make some sense of this, to find a deeper meaning in the senseless tragedy. Oh, Carissa, I'll sing your name across every sea.